So, hi and welcome everybody to the wireless security course. In today's lecture, we will be talking and discussing physical layer authentication. Today, we are joined by Dr. Furqan Madani, who's a true expert in physical layer security. He has been working on this domain for the last 5 years, specifically since 2015. So he's a true expert in this domain. He has made several contributions related to physical layer security, more specifically on the concept of key generation, generating keys from the wireless channel and exploiting the randomness, and even introducing new dimensions to extract keys from. So in this lecture, he will be explaining to us the concept of authentication at the physical layer. We all know that authentication can happen at any layer, and the current authentication protocols and methods are being applied at the upper layers. But today we will discuss the authentication at the physical layer, and we will see how the authentication at the physical layer can address many of the challenges that upper layer authentication approaches suffer from. So with this, I can leave the mic to Dr. Furqan Madani, and he can kick off the presentation and start presenting to us what he has to say today.
Uh,
Thank you very
Jihad,
much for joining us, and the floor is yours. You can get started.
Jihad Hojam, while presenting, if you have any comment, I mean further enhancement you can give, like based on our previous discussions. So
Yes.
I will try to connect the dots. So you are starting recording now, yes?
Yeah, definitely. Can go
Okay.
ahead.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Hi everyone. I am Furqan Madni, as Jihad Hojam already introduced. So today we are discussing about physical layer authentication. My thesis was basically on physical layer security against eavesdropping, and this is another dimension where we are working. And now, starting from the outline of my presentation is as follows. Uh, First of all, I will talk about the need of authentication, then conventional solution for authentication. Then in the part one, we will discuss about problems in conventional solutions. Afterwards, in the part two of the presentation, I will share physical layer authentication versus cryptography, like what is the need of physical layer authentication. Then after that, whenever you want to design something, the second thing came into our mind is what are the design requirements. We will also discuss about the design requirements. Then we will also give some performance metrics about different algorithm. Finally, afterwards, I will discuss in the part 3 of presentation, I will discuss different types of physical layer authentication techniques, and then finally some future challenges. And you can ask the question, I think, at the end of the presentation. And there are some breaks as well in between. So let's start. Having said that, I want you to just not listen this, but think from your real life. Uh, Wireless communication, it is in all chapters of your life. There are a lot of interesting application in your daily life, in current 5G, 6G, your cell phone. And now, when we see smart cities, smart transport, autonomous transport, there are a lot of interesting application you will see. There are some are already here, and you will see in future in all the fields, from industry to medical, from your daily life. Almost in every field you will find some interesting application of wireless communication. But there is a problem in wireless communication. There are a lot of applications, but there is a problem. The wireless communication has broadcast nature, and due to its broadcast nature, it is vulnerable to many security threats. For example, when you broadcast the information, anyone can listen your transmission. And which we called in technical term eavesdropping. Anyone can listen what you are talking if you have specialized equipment. I showed this attacks here. There is an attacker who can listen, for example, if you are transmitting your bank information, he can listen those passwords. Then a jammer can jam your communication, sending interference signal in the similar band where you are transmitting. And there's a spoofer. What spoofer can do? Spoofer can receive the information, modify it, and retransmit it. It can cause, for example, the hijacking, hacking, these kinds of attack as well. But there are three major attacks in the wireless communication one is eavesdropping, second is jammer, and spoofer. The authentication solutions are to tackle spoofing attack. I will go in further detail about spoofing attack, but this is the basic threats of wireless communication. Now, let's see why we need authentication. The spoofing attack that I discussed earlier, it is from the practical point of view, there are a lot of dangerous consequence if someone successfully spoof us. For example, there is a legitimate transmitter transmitting to the server and client, but there is a man in the middle attack, for example. He can listen all the communication between all the password, and it can cause financial theft. Another very dangerous attack is spoofing, GPS spoofing. In the GPS spoofing, the spoofer can make you believe that you are in a location where you are not existed, and it can lead to the hijacking of drones, cars, planes. Another is something in the military, in our daily life, financial loss, accidents, resource exploitation. There are a lot of dangerous applications that will be the result of this spoofing attack. How to tackle such attack? How to ensure that the source of the information or source of the command is legitimate? In order to ensure that, the solution is authentication. So authentication is just to ensure the exact original source of the communication or transmission, and it will tackle the spoofing attack so that no one can impersonate us, no one can substitute the information. In the one slide, if I explain what is authentication, it is here. Like in authentication, we have two postulates. The first one is we have to postulate whether the transmission is from legitimate node H0 or it is from another attacker, or the signal is a legitimate signal or someone have substituted or manipulated. So let's, as an example, there is a Bob who is authenticating device, authenticator, and he want to authenticate whether my legitimate node is Alice or not. So Bob need to differentiate between transmission is coming from Alice, the legitimate node, or the attacker. If it's coming from Alice, we can say that, okay, the hypothesis H0 is true, otherwise H1 is true. So authentication actually indicates the verification of node's actual identity. Now, first solution in the literature for this, it is already available in the literature, or if you say currently applicable, is cryptography based solution. In the cryptography based solution, how authentication works, or what is the basic idea of authentication, is as follows. There are two steps we can say. The first one is identity association, and the second step is identity verification. Now, as you know, in cryptography, we assume that there is a secret key that is shared between with the help of third party between the transmitter and receiver. This is the identity association step is done at the transmitter and verification at the receiver. Now we have an identity message, any identity message. What we will do with the help of secret key, we will make an authentication message. This identity message and secret key will make an authentication message, and the receiver task is to find this identity message. So you will use the secret key and identity message. You will apply the operation on identity message to make an authentication message. You transmit to the channel. You do channel estimation, and with the help of key, you will try to extract this identity message. And at the receiver in your database, you have this message, and you can compare it, what you receive, with the database to identify whether it is from legitimate source or not. For example, if we assume that an attacker does not know about the key, so when a signal is transmitted by the attacker, you can easily identify by comparing the received signal with the stored signal in the database. This is the one basic algorithm for cryptography. Another interesting algorithm from the cryptography point of view is channel-based response. The basic idea here is that one of the nodes send a random channel. It is also based on cryptography, so both nodes know the key, and it is shared between these two nodes using trustable third party. Now, the idea here is that you generate any random message and send that message to the other node as a challenge. Based on the key in the other node, it will apply the response signal based on key and the received message and send back to the transmitter. Transmitter receives the response, and after receiving the response, it also knows the key. It will generate the same response to compare. And now, in the last step, what will it do? It will compare the local copy with the received copy to identify the source. From here, we understand cryptography-based approaches can help us to authenticate. But what's wrong with them? Like, okay, we are happy, everything is going well. What's wrong? Like, any problem with cryptography? So let's go into detail. When you are going towards future wireless communication system, we have heterogeneous nature of wireless network. We have macro cell, concept of macro, micro, pico, femto, and heterogeneous nature of wireless network. And in those networks, key sharing is a very challenging task. It is a very big overhead to the network in terms of resources, in terms of complexity, in terms of management. Then another thing, the IoT devices that are limited, that have limited capability, limited resources in terms of power and other resources, they are not able to support cryptography. Another thing that I want to add, when we see cryptography-based approaches, in cryptography-based approaches, in order to ensure a very strong security, it is preferable to have a very long key based on complex mathematical functions. So it is very difficult for the IoT devices due to their capability to support such operation and such complex cryptography based approaches. Another thing is that the basic algorithm, like where encryption and decryption block in basic digital system, if you see, first we do source encoding and then encryption operation is applied, and follow up with channel coding to tackle channel effect, and then modulation and these other steps. And after, at the receiver side, we'll do channel decoding, decryption. These are the extra block in the encryption. Now, the problem here is that we have a latency, signaling overhead, computation, and resources. I want you to think now the future application where our industry which is based on robots, and those robots are working on wireless communication, or think of an autonomous car or a remote surgery. These cryptography based approaches, not only they are complex, there is an extra latency, there is a signaling overhead, there are other complex operation, and due to these latency sensitive application, cryptography is not feasible for such application. There is a small delay can cause a very uh, it is a risk, maybe the risk of a life. If someone is a surgeon who is operating a patient in another city and small latency due to cryptography, and it cause delay and it can affect the operation, or it can cause an accident in autonomous car, or it can affect the factory operation, or if you are controlling drone or such application. Drones are also have a limited capability to support these complex cryptography operations. So there we also have such problem. So in this slide we understand, okay, cryptography is interesting and effective solution, but when we are moving towards future wireless communication and some future application, the cryptography based approaches may not be feasible. And other problem is that when you go towards quantum computer that are even they can crack these keys. So how to solve this issue? What are the, is there any solution or not? So now we are going towards how to, we want to ensure security. We cannot because another important thing that I want to mention from medical point of view, the pacemaker to control the heartbeat of a patient. If someone can hack it by, it can be hacked, it can kill a patient even. So we cannot leave security, and cryptography is not feasible in some of the future applications. So the solution of to provide security while fulfilling these requirement is physical layer security. And physical layer security in general, we in part 2 we will go into detail of physical layer security. Or now in the physical layer security, or specifically when we are saying against spoofing attack, these solutions are physical layer authentication. In physical layer authentication, we are not using cryptography in general. We are using, for example, in the first case, in top left, we can use the channel characteristics. In the wireless communication in a rich scattering environment, we know that if two devices are half a wavelength apart, they will observe independent channel. So the unique channel can be used to identify the node. You can use the channel. You are already using channel estimation and other process for your communication. You can use that channel estimation to identify the source of a message, to identify the exact source. So the in the top left, this is a channel based authentication. For example, device A and device B, they have a unique channel. If there is a device C here, it will observe a different channel. So you can use this channel characteristics for authentication. Similarly, when you, if any one of you is working on hardware and have any idea, when you design any equipment or any device, so we tried our best that there will be no error, but during fabrication of the device, there are always some imperfection. You can use those imperfections for authentication as well. For example, if I made 5 devices, five let's suppose we make 5 mobile phones, same manufacturer, same equipment, but due to fabrication tolerance, all of mobile have different the features. I mean, if you use them, for example, if you use them for their modulation IQ imbalance, they all of them have different IQ imbalance. If you see their response, signal transient response of each of device, so due to fabrication error, even we tried our best, there will be no error. There is always some imperfection, and we can use that imperfection to identify that device. This is another very interesting. The third is a kind of a new area, tag based authentication, where you have a message signal, you are adding a tag on your signal at physical layer at the transmitter, and at the receiver you will try to find if this tag is there or not. This tag is either based on the key that you can extract from the channel or pre-shared key. I also want to mention here is that physical layer authentication is not fully replacing cryptography at the moment. We can say they can complement, they can support each other, they are complementary solution to each other. But in future, there are possibility that it may replace the cryptography based solution. So physical layer security, it can support delay sensitive, power limited, power restricted system. Moreover, it allows to quickly distinguish the original source of transmitter. Now, whenever you design any technique, the first thing that we will decide, or we think, what are the design criteria? So what are the design criteria of physical layer authentication? There are three basic things in design criteria. First one is robustness, the second one is security, and the third one is covertness. Now, robustness, what is robustness? As I told you, we can use the hardware or impairment or the channel to authenticate the device. But you know, when a signal passes through the channel from the transmitter to the receiver, due to the channel fading and other effect and noise effect, the quality of signal at the receiver is not the same, similar to the transmitter. So robustness is, can you still able to identify the signature of your device from the signal when it passes through the channel? Is your signature is resistant to channel fading and noise effect? For example, if there is a hardware impairment that I showed you, this IQ imbalance, for example, when it passes through channel, can you still able to identify it for the two devices? Can you able to differentiate them? The second thing is that, before that, if you see at the top of this slide, I made this figure. There's an Alice, a legitimate transmitter, authenticating node. Bob, here I'm saying authenticator, like a base station kind of thing. Eavesdropper is just listening our signature, and after listening, it can launch different attack. And there is a Carol. Carol here is that when you apply any method in PHY authentication, will it affect the performance? Will, if a receiver who don't know this method, will he still able to decode the message? So robustness is the resistance to the channel fading of your signature, that how much your signature is robust to channel fading. Security is here, what is the ability, how much your signature is secure. Can you ensure a method that an attacker will not able to listen to the signature? And covertness is that how much harm you are doing to your signal, or if someone, another receiver who don't know about this method, can he still able to decode the message? These are the three basic design criteria. Now, The other important thing about any method whenever you design is what are the performance metrics. When you design a method, how will you compare it with the other method? How will you analyze that your method is good or bad? How will you further improve it? Like how to compare with literature, how to set your goals. So here we can measure it in terms of performance metrics. These are the popular performance metrics in the literature for authentication, from the authentication literature. The first one is probability of detection. What is the probability of detection? The probability that you are correctly deciding about illegitimate node when illegitimate node is there. Like there is an attacker and you are deciding, yeah, this is an attacker. And ideally it should be one. You want to maximize it. The second one is probability of false alarm. The probability of deciding wrongly about illegitimate node, but when legitimate node is there. And we want, this is a false alarm, we want to minimize it. The third one is the misdetection, probability of misdetection. And it is the probability of wrongly deciding H0 when, or wrongly deciding that it is a legitimate node when illegitimate node or attacker is there. These are the three popular performance metrics. Then there are other things, receiver operating curve. It's a graphical plot to illustrate the accuracy of your classifier or authenticator. And actually, this is the plot of probability of detection against probability of false alarm for different thresholds. Area under these curves can also be used to represent the separability degree of the classifier. Bit error rate is for checking how much your method affects the overall authentication performance. These are the popular performance metrics. So I am planning to take a small break here, and we can answer the question if you have up till here. Jihad Hojam?
Yes, thank you, Furqan. Thank you, Dr. Furqan, for the nice presentation so far. I think we can take a break here for 5 to 10 minutes. I believe we can take it for 10 minutes and resume back after 10 minutes. So if you have any questions regarding your part 1 and part 2, so we can answer them to Dr. Furqan. If there are no questions, we can continue with part 3 and part 4.